Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing? All right, get ready. I hope you're relaxed. I hope you're in your recliner. I hope you have coffee or something to drink, maybe a snack. Do you have a sandwich? Go for a sandwich right about now. Anyway, um, we have some very, very, very interesting things to discuss here. Okay. First thing is first. Uh, Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea. Chelsea Clinton. She receives an annual reoccurring funding from USAID. Oh, why? Why? What's she doing? Okay, and this is allocated by Obama for her foundation, which provides afternoon meals to children in Africa and India and Bangladesh. However, as of today, or actually I think it was yesterday, the reported number of meals that were served stands at only 11,886, implying an astonishing cost of $1,410 per meal. I didn't know that they were eating at 5-star Michelin restaurants. I don't even think a meal at a 5-star Michelin restaurant costs that much. I mean, unless they're eating caviar, lobster, filet mignon. I don't even get to eat like that. But anyway, her net worth is 70 mil. Her husband's net worth is 45 mil. Her inheritance is 52 mil. USAID earnings are 3.9 million a year. Her real estate assets are 25 mil. Her monthly spending habits is about 100 grand. I feel bad if I spend too much money on my Amazon and she's spending 100 grand. What are you buying? Her car collection. She's got 8 cars. You don't have 8 asses. What are you doing with 8 cars? I got 1. And I don't even get to drive it because my husband has it all the time. What do you need 8 cars for? She's accomplished nothing, but yet she has all of this. Who the hell do you think you are with all of this? Just because you're mommy and daddy's daughter? They ain't even shit. What the hell do you need to have all this for? I'm getting a migraine. So the next thing that we're going to talk about is Lindy Lee. And Lee is spelled L-I. She went on a talk show. Well, you can't even call it a talk show. Podcast, maybe. Sean Ryan. He's good. I like him. And she's confirmed what we have all suspected and sort of kind of knew. Okay. But we all needed that type thing. Okay. 46. He never ran the show. I don't think he knew where the hell he was half the time. It was Obama's 3rd term. Even Hunter was making government calls. A junkie was making government calls. Excuse me? That's like me going back home to Atlantic City on Pacific Avenue, okay? You know, if you've ever been to Atlantic City, you know what Pacific Avenue is. It's where all the hookers and all the... Anyway. It's like asking them to go make a call. Hey, you want to sign this executive order? Get the... Anyway, let that sink in for 2 seconds, okay? Hunter was running the show, okay? So how deep does this corruption really go? It's just a question. because of a hunt. I mean, come on. It's like going into your average county jail and asking someone, okay? I mean, seriously.
It was for sure Obama's third term. I don't think that's even a question. But also, he didn't have much faith in Kamala Harris. Before she ascended to the top role, he was vetting people like Mark Kelly and Andy Bashir.
So who was running it? Who are the names?
Steve Ricchetti, his senior advisor, Anita Dunn, Mike Donnellan, Ron Klain, Jeff Zients, Bob Bauer, his personal lawyer, who's actually his personal lawyer, who actually leased a book, basically grifting off his relationship with the Bidens. I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying all this. Please give me credit for. But these are the people who ran our country for the last 4 years.
So let's go through each name for all of the audience. Not everybody is as tuned in with who's who in the political world.
As a general overview, these are the people who made a living off of their connection with Biden. It's like they were leeching off the Biden name for decades, and all of them realized that they would never work for another president, so they had to ride the gravy train all the way through, you know? They would ride it to the very end, and that's why all of them refused to concede the truth, which is that Biden is unfit, and he would have been comatose by the time he was 86.
Who's the first name you mentioned?
Steve Ricchetti, the same guy who put his own kid at the Treasury.
Who is he? What's his position?
His most senior White House senior advisor. Like all of them are White House counselor or White House senior advisor. And they are the gatekeepers of the president.
Who's the next name?
Mike Donnellan, the same guy who's feeding, I'm just going to say it like it is, feeding Biden fake numbers telling him that he would win. He would beat Trump. Seriously, are you kidding me? And the truth of the matter is, by the time Biden was going to drop out, he was on track to lose the Electoral College by 400 votes. Trump was on track to get 400 Electoral College votes. Not a typo. I'm not misspeaking. 400 electoral votes by the time he dropped out. And Mike Donnellan, his pollster, whom he, they go back decades. By the way, the major qualification for all these folks is that they know Biden really well. These aren't like PhDs or like rocket scientists or anything like that. It's just because of loyalty. And they've stayed with him for a number of years. So Mike Donnellan, Nancy Pelosi actually called him out. And she said, show me the numbers, Mike. Like, show me where you're getting these numbers that show that Biden can still beat Trump. And Donnellan wasn't able to deliver. No such numbers exist.
Who's the next name?
Who did I say? Anita Dunn. I actually have a soft spot for Anita Dunn because she got iced out of the Biden circle in July, August of this past year because she dared to say, maybe it's a good idea for the president to shy away from his convicted felon of a son because the optics aren't great.
Why do you have a soft spot for somebody who's running the country in the shadows to the ground?
Because she dared to speak up. She's the only one who did. She's the only one who dared to utter criticism.
But we went 4 years.
I know, but she's the only one who did anything a little bit different, you know? And she got exiled. She got kicked out of the White House.
When?
So she's July. So she got booted out. And then not only her husband got booted out. Her husband, Bob Bauer, was Biden's personal attorney. So after Anita... so I should also mention that after the debate, Hunter basically commandeered the White House. He sat in on all the White House top-level meetings. You had a former cocaine addict sitting in on the most sensitive meetings of the most consequential and important government in world history. Does that sit right with you?
No.
Without security clearance, mind you. No security clearance. That's who was basically running the show. So Hunter basically battened down the hatches after the debate to make sure that his father would only receive intel that he pre-approved. And so Anita Dunn got exiled around this time, along with her husband. Her husband was playing Trump in the debate prep. Ron Klain was disgraced after the debate blew up. And then Jeff Zients, the person who's worth like hundreds of millions of dollars, the chief of staff. I should mention that the weekend that Biden made the decision to drop out, he only told two people in that circle, and that's that's Steve Ricchetti and Mike. He didn't tell Anita because I was on a call with Anita that morning and she had no idea it was going to happen. It completely caught her off guard. So by that time, they were already easing her out of the circle.
Is there any? Did we cover all the names?
Did we? Jill Biden?
Jill Biden.
She was like president. She was president. I was with Joe and Jill the night of the debate. I was at their VIP debate watch party. I slept all the way to Atlanta, Georgia for that, to show my support. Oh my gosh, Sean, you wouldn't believe it. So that night, I have the pictures too. I was with Joe, and so Jill takes Joe by the hand. The names are so similar. I'm sorry. Jill takes Joe by the hand on stage and she's like, Joe, you knew all the facts. You answered all the questions. And you know that hand gesture that she does. And I'm thinking, you're treating him like a first grader. Like just because he, like you shouldn't applaud him for doing the basics. And you could just tell that she was fighting for dear life to hold on to the vestige of power. And just a few days later, she was on the cover of Vogue. So the whole thing was a Jill Biden show. She was not as authentic as Joe, I want to say. I think as Joe got older, maybe you think I'm naive in saying this, but I'm not even sure if he remembers all of the corruption that he engaged in.
It doesn't surprise me.
Like, I don't think he had a full understanding what was going on.
I don't think anybody would argue that.
So on to this. Here we go once again. All right. My friends and family in New York, listen up. 1 week to slow the spread. Slow the spread of what, Hochul? Okay. She is announcing a shutdown. I know. Can you feel the eyes rolling into the back of my head of all live bird markets due to 7 flu cases in poultry? Just stop eating chicken for a little while. You'll be all right. What the hell? I mean, this order goes into effect immediately in New York City, Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. For 1 week, no poultry can be delivered to those live bird markets. Each unaffected market must sell down all inventory, undergo thorough cleaning and disinfection. Well, they should have been doing this in the first place. It's called sanitation. Then they must remain closed for 5 days. Then they must be inspected by the state and markets before opening. Okay. Don't they have, doesn't the county and the state go in there and do, the white glove anyway? I mean, are they really going to try and pull this BS again? I'm just saying.
Good morning. I want to give an update to New Yorkers on a potential health issue that's been detected in our state. Over the last week, inspectors have detected 7 cases of bird flu in poultry during routine inspections at live bird markets in the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. Our state Egg and Markets is now working closely with market owners to depopulate all infected flocks. Out of an abundance of caution and to thwart any further transmission, we're issuing a notice and order to temporarily shut down all live bird markets in New York City, as well as in Westchester, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. The order is effective today through next Friday, February 14th. Here's what that means. For a week-long period, no poultry can be delivered to those live bird markets. Each uninfected market must sell down all inventory, undergo thorough cleaning and disinfection, and then remain closed for at least 5 days. Each must then be inspected by our state Egg and Markets before they can reopen. These are just simply measured, common sense steps that'll curb the spread of bird flu and ultimately to keep New Yorkers safe, which is always my top priority. Now, I want to reiterate that people should not be concerned. Let me be clear, there is no immediate public health threat. We have been vigilant and will remain vigilant so New Yorkers can go about their lives with peace of mind.
So here's a question for you. Why are they all screaming? Okay. Because all of the money was going to them. Okay. We are in debt almost $40 trillion. I'll say it again, $40 trillion. Okay. Their pockets were being lined. I don't even think that the money was going to these countries, or so they say, for all of these weird, you know, for sushi and this, that, and the. Did you hear about that? Yeah, they were sending money to countries to do some kind of whatever for sushi. Not everybody has a taste for. I love sushi, by the way, but it's only if it's vegetarian sushi. I'm weird when it comes to seafood. Anyway, but still in all, come on. That's why they're all so rich at only having a salary of $180,000 a year, and then all of a sudden they're multi-million and billionaires with houses in, I don't know, the Maldives, okay, Hawaii. Oh, well, then they had to claim that on the insurance policy, but still, unless they had the blue roof. Okay, I mean, come on. Nobody gets rich while being in Congress or Senate, for crying out loud. Nobody, unless, like I said, they're cooking the books, which obvious it is. That's what they're doing. So, like I said in a previous video, it's like they're like the mafia, for crying out loud. They should all be in prison for fraud and embezzlement. Okay, that's how they took it down. A lot of the mafia guys was for fraud and embezzlement because they couldn't get them on anything else. Okay, just saying. All right. Here you go. Ciao.
Second, okay, so we knew the U.S. government runs a $2 trillion deficit every year. We're in debt almost $40 trillion. And we also knew that anytime anyone tries to cut anything in Washington, the whole city screams bloody murder. Okay, so the question is just why? Well, now we know. The money is all going to them. It's like round tripping to them. New York Times, getting paid. Politico, getting paid. Bill Kristol, perennial warmonger, getting paid. Ukraine, getting paid. Like 11 out of 12 publications, Ukraine, getting paid.
Incredible.
Viktor Orban, who's the prime minister of Hungary, was saying that he's very popular in Hungary. His political opposition, funded by USAID. In Poland, the left-wing political opposition funded by USAID, and on and on and on it goes.
BBC. You wonder why everyone in the UK is so, yeah.
Like
I couldn't believe the BBC is getting paid.
Every left-wing organization in the world seems to be getting paid by this slush fund at USAID, which disperses about $50 billion a year. That's $1 billion a week. That's actually a lot of money. And so it makes you wonder, the left in general tries to portray itself as a movement of the people, that it's grassroots. This is the exact opposite. This is AstroTurf. This is basically money coming from the top down out of Washington to fund all of these groups, maybe not even in the United States, like all over the world. So it makes you wonder, what is the real level of local support for these left-wing policies all over the world?